Hey y'all, hey, welcome to another session of KickBack Bible Study. Last time we ended on Genesis chapter 40. We were ending where Joseph interpreted the dreams of the baker and the butler while they were in the prison, and it came to pass, and they ended up getting released, but they didn't say anything about Joseph. He was like, forget me not, and they definitely did forget him. So we're going to pick up on chapter 41. We'll be ending out Genesis today because there's only 50 chapters in Genesis. So let's get started. All right. Genesis chapter 41. And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 well-favored kine and fat-fleshed, and they fed in a meadow. Kine, K-I-N-E. That would be something you want to look up if you don't know what it is. It's a cow. But, you want to make sure you look that stuff up. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them out of the river, ill-favored and lean-fleshed, and stood by the other kine upon the brink of the river. And the ill-favored and lean-fleshed kine did eat up 7 well-favored kine. So Pharaoh awoke, and he slept and dreamed the second time. And behold, 7 ears of corn came up on one stalk, rank and good. And behold, 7 thin ears and blasted with the east wind sprung up after them, and the 7 thin ears devoured the 7 rank and full ears. And Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And it came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled, and he sent and called all the magicians of Egypt and all the wise men thereof. And Pharaoh told them his dream, but there was none that could interpret them unto Pharaoh. Then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day. Pharaoh was wroth with his servant, and put me in ward in the captain of the guard's house, both me and the chief baker. And we dreamed a dream in one night, I and he. We dreamed each according to the interpretation of his dream. And there was there with us a young man, a Hebrew servant, the captain of the guard, a Hebrew servant to the captain of the guard. And we told him, and he interpreted to us our dreams. To each man according his dream did he interpret. And it came to pass, and as he interpreted to us, so it was. Me he restored unto mine office, and him he hanged. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon, and he shaved himself and changed his raiment, and came in unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it. And I have heard it said of thee that thou canst understand of the dream and interpret it. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, It is not in me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. Now, I have that highlight. That's a really, really good point to make as far as the attitude that people should have when interpreting the word of God. You see that he was like, hey, I heard you know how to do them dreams. And Joseph was like, no, it's not me, but God shall give Pharaoh an answer. And so that's a good way. You always want to make sure if somebody's telling you something about the word of God and this, that, and the third, like they should be telling you what they saying. It should be a word from God. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph in my dream, Behold, I stood up upon the bank of the river, and behold, there came up out of the river 7 kine, fat-fleshed and well-favored, and they fed in a meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them, poor and very ill-favored and lean-fleshed, such as I never saw in all the land of Egypt for badness. And the lean and the ill-favored kine did eat up the first 7 fat kine, and when they had eaten them up, it could not be known that they had eaten them, but they were still ill-favored as in the beginning. So I woke. So he said the fat cows got ate by the skinny cows, but the skinny cows were still skinny. So what's going on? I had to wake up. This ain't right. So I saw in my dream, and behold, 7 ears came up in one stalk, full and good, and behold, 7 ears withered, thin, and blasted with the east wind sprung up after them. And the thin ears devoured the 7 good ears, and I told this unto the magicians, but there was none that could declare it to me. And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, The dream of Pharaoh is one. God hath showed Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good kine are 7 years, and the 7 good ears are 7 years. The dream is one. And the 7 thin and ill-favored kine that came up after are the 7 years, and that came up them are 7 years. And the 7 empty ears blasted with the east wind shall be 7 years of famine. And this thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh, what God is about to do, he showeth unto Pharaoh. Behold, there come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt, and there shall rise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land. And the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of that famine following, for it shall be very grievous. And for that the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice. It is because the thing is established by God, and God will shortly bring it to pass. Now therefore let Pharaoh look out. Oh, I need to highlight that. So it says that, and for that the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice. It is because it is a thing is established by God, and God will shortly bring it to pass. Okay. I'm going to highlight that. And that's for my own preference. I'm just like, oh, okay, there's something I didn't notice before. He said he established it because he dreamed that dream twice. Now therefore let Pharaoh look out at a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the 5th part of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years. And let them gather all the food of those good years that come, and lay up corn under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities. And that food shall be for store in the land against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not through the famine. And the thing that was good in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all his servants. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, can we find such a one that is a man in whom the Spirit of God is? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as God hath showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Thou shalt be over my house. According unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, see, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand, and put it upon Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in vestures of fine linen, and put a gold chain about his neck. And he made him ride in the 2nd chariot which he had. And they cried before him, bow the knee, and make him ruler over all the land of Egypt. So he having a whole parade. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without thee shall no man lift up his hand or foot in all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zapatasinaya. Zapnathpania. Is that might be Zephaniah? I don't know. Yeah. And Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zephaniah, and he gave to him to wife Asli, the daughter of Potipherah, priest of On. And Joseph went all over the land of Egypt. And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh, and went throughout all the land of Egypt. And in the 7 plenteous years the earth brought forth by handfuls, and he gathered up all the food of the 7 years which were in the land of Egypt, and laid up the food in the cities. In the food of the field which was round about every city laid he up in the same. And Joseph gathered corn as the sand of the sea very much, until he left numbering, for it was without number. And unto Joseph were born 2 sons before the years of famine came, which Ashnath, the daughter of Potipherah, priest of On, bare unto him. And Joseph called the name of his firstborn Manasseh, for God, said he, hath made me forget all my toil and all my father's house. And the name of the second was called Ephraim, for God hath caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. And the 7 years of plenteous that was in the land of Egypt were ended, and the 7 years of dearth began to come, according as Joseph had said. And the dearth was in all lands, but in all the land of Egypt there was bread. So it's starting to be a famine, but Joseph didn't save enough food. Everybody's still eating. And when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said unto all the Egyptians, Go unto Joseph, what he saith to you, do. And the famine was over all the face of the earth, and Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold unto the Egyptians, and the famine waxed sore in the land of Egypt. And all countries came unto Egypt to Joseph to buy corn, because the famine was sore in all the lands. Okay, chapter 42. Now when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, not Jacob, so this is his dad, this is Joseph's daddy. So now when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons, Why do ye look one upon another? And he said, Behold, I have heard that there is corn in Egypt. Get you down thither, and buy for us from thence, that we may live and not die. And Joseph's 10 brethren went down to buy corn in Egypt. But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Jacob sent not with his brethren, for he said, Lest peradventure mischief befall him. So Jacob is sending all his kids down there to go buy some food. But the Benjamin, that's the youngest one that he had, that's the one that died, that Rachel died giving birth to. Like, that's, Joseph and Benjamin was like his kids from his beloved. So he's like, no, because I done already sent one son off, and he done came back with a bloody goat coat. So, but he don't know it was goat blood. All right. And the sons of Israel came to buy corn among those that came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. And Joseph was the governor over the land, and he it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces on the earth. You remember that dream? Now Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and he spoke roughly unto them, and he said unto them, Whence come ye? And they say, From the land of Canaan, to buy food. And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew him not. And Joseph remembered his dream which he dreamed of them, and said unto them, Ye are spies, to see the nakedness of the land ye are come. And they said unto him, Nay, my lord, but to buy food are thy servants come. We are all one man's son. We are true men, thy servants are no spies. And he said unto them, Nay, but to see the nakedness of the land are ye here to come. And they said, Thy servants are 12 brethren, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. And behold, the youngest is this day with our father, and one is not. And Joseph said unto him, That is it that I spake unto you, saying, Ye are spies. Hereby ye shall be proved. By the life of Pharaoh shall ye not go forth hence, except your younger brother come hither. Send one of you, and let him fetch your brother, and ye shall be kept in prison, that your words may be proved, whether they be any truth in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh, surely ye are spies. So they don't recognize him. He all dressed up, and he a governor. Last time they seen him, he was a pit about to be, he was in a pit about to be sold as a slave. So he was like, if y'all who y'all say y'all is, y'all missing somebody, bring them. And if that's the case, then I'll know y'all ain't lying, because it's a whole bunch of y'all. You telling me all your daddy had all y'all? So he's trying to test. He's trying to vet them out. And he put them all together into ward 3 days. And Joseph said unto him the third day, this do and live, for I fear God. If ye be true men, let one of your brethren be bound in the house of your prison. Go ye, carry corn for the famine of your house, but bring your youngest brother unto me. So shall your words be verified, and ye shall not die. And they did so. So he was like, y'all all can't go back. But that he says, for I fear God. So he said, I'm gonna let y'all go get your brother and take some corn when you go, because I don't want to be no situation somebody die while y'all taking this trip. So and they said one to another, we are verily guilty concerning our brother, in that we saw the anguish of his soul when he besought us, and we would not hear. Therefore is this distress come upon us. And Reuben answered them, saying, Spake I not unto you, saying, Do not sin against the child, and ye would not hear. Therefore, behold, also his blood is required. And they knew not that Joseph understood them, for he spake unto them by an interpreter. So he wasn't even speaking English to them. whatever they spoke, wherever they was at. He was speaking in a different language. So while they were talking, Reuben was like, see, I told y'all shouldn't have killed Joseph, because, or sold Joseph. Because, see, now it's coming back to bite us, and they didn't realize that, he spoke the same language. So, and he turned himself about from them and wept, and returned to them again and communed with them, and took from them Simeon and bound him before their eyes. And Joseph commanded to fill their sacks with corn, and to restore every man's money into his sack, and to give them provisions for the way. And thus did he unto them. And they landed their asses, and they ladded their asses with corn, and departed thence. And as one of them opened his sack to give his ass provender in the end, he espied his money, for behold, it was in his sack's mouth. And he said unto his brethren, my money is restored, and lo, it is even in my sack. And their heart failed them, and they were afraid, saying one to another, what is this that God hath done unto us? And they came unto Jacob their father unto the land of Canaan, and told him all that befell them, saying, the man who is the Lord of the land spake roughly to us, and took for us spies for the country. And we said unto him, we are true men, we are no spies, but we 12 brethren, sons of our father, one is not, and the youngest is the day with our father in the land of Canaan. And the man, the Lord of the country, said unto us, hereby shall I know that ye are true men. Leave one of your brethren here with me, and take food for the famine of your household. Okay, so he tied up Simeon, and he let the rest of them go. And bring your youngest brother unto me, then shall I know that ye are no spies, but that ye are true men. So I will deliver you your brethren, and ye shall traffic in the land. And it came to pass that as they emptied their sacks, that behold, every man's bundle of money was in his sack. And when both they and their father saw the bundles of money, they were afraid. And Jacob said to their father unto them, and when he's talking about the bundles of money, they went to go buy corn from there. So Joseph loaded them up with the corn, but didn't take the money. So they like, what's going on? We were supposed to buy this corn, and we got the corn, but we still got our money. So that's why they're afraid at the fact that they still have their money, because it's just odd. Like, what's going on? We were supposed to be buying this corn. And Jacob their father said unto them, me have ye bereaved of my children. Joseph is not, and Simeon is not, and ye will take Benjamin away. All these things are against me. And so they was like, he said, man, what are you talking about? You're just trying to off all my kids. Joseph gone, now Simeon tied up, and now you want to take Benjamin? Like, I ain't with it. And Reuben spake unto his father, saying, slay my 2 sons, if I bring him not to thee. Deliver him into my hand, and I will bring him again to thee. And he said, my son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone. If mischief befall him by the way in which ye go, then shall ye bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. So he said, Reuben is like, listen, I know you feeling some type of way, but let him roll with me, and if anything happened to him, I got 2 sons, you kill him. Like, even swap, no swindle. And so he was like, no, I can't even do it. Jacob was like, no, that's gonna kill me, if because that's the only baby mama I really loved. Well, I ain't saying, I'm not saying that was the case. He could have loved all of them, but he loved Rachel. It specifically said he loved Rachel. And it did not specifically say he loved the sister or either of their maids. Okay, chapter 43. And the famine was sore in the land, and it came to pass that when they had eaten up the corn which they had brought out of Egypt, their father said unto them, go again, buy us a little food. And Judah spake unto him, saying, the man did solemnly protest to us, saying, ye shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. If thou wilt send our brother with us, we will go down and buy thee food. But if thou wilt not send him, we will not go. For the man has said unto us, ye shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. And Israel said, wherefore dealt ye so ill with me, as to tell the man whether ye had yet a brother? And they said, the man asked us straitly of our state and of our kindred, saying, is your father yet alive? Have ye another brother? And we told him according to the tenure of these words. Could we certainly know that he would say, bring your brother down? So he was like, why you even told him you had another brother? He was like, we didn't tell him, he asked. We wasn't gonna lie. And Judah said unto Israel his father, Send the lad with me, and we will arise and go, that we may live and not die, both we and thou, and also our little ones. We will be a surety for him. Of my hand shalt thou require him. If I bring him not unto thee, and set him before thee, then let me bear the blame forever. For except we had lingered, surely now we had returned this second time. And their father Israel said unto them, If it must be so now, do this: take of the best fruits in the land in our vessels, and carry down the man a present, a little balm and a little honey, spices and myrrh, nuts and almonds, and take double money in your hand, and the money that was brought again in the mouth of your sacks, carry it again in your hand, peradventure it was an oversight. So he said, listen, y'all gonna go and y'all gonna take him a bunch of gifts, and y'all gonna bring double the money, that money that he give, that double the money, and then that money that he let you keep last time, bring that back too, and tell him that it was an oversight, that you ain't even know that he ain't get paid. So take also your brother, and rise, go again unto the man. So they send them off. And God Almighty gave you mercy before the man, that he may send away your brother, your other brother, and Benjamin. If I be bereaved of my children, I am bereaved. And the men took the present. So he said, if my kids got to die, that's just how I got to go. But we got to go get this food, or we all going to die for real anyway. And the men took that present, and they took double money in their hand, and Benjamin, and rose up and went down to Egypt, and stood before Joseph. And when Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said unto the ruler of his house, Bring these men home, and slay, and make ready for these men. They shall dine with me at noon. And the man did as Joseph bade, and the man brought the men into Joseph's house. And the men were afraid, because they were brought into Joseph's house. And they said, Because of the money that was returned into our sacks at the first time are we brought in, that he may seek occasion against us, and fall upon us, and take us for bondmen and our asses. And they came into, so they like, man, we finna go to jail. All right. And they came near unto the steward of Joseph's house, and they communed with him at the door of the house, and said, O sir, we came indeed down at the first time to buy food, and it came to pass, when we came into the inn, that we opened our sacks, and behold, every man's money was in the mouth of his sack. Our money is full weight, and we have bought it again in your hand. And other money we have brought down in our hands to buy food. We cannot tell who put our money in our sacks. And he said, Peace be to you, fear not. Your God and the God of your father hath given you treasure in your sacks. I had your money. And he brought Simeon out unto them. And the man brought the men into Joseph's house, and gave them water, and they washed their feet, and he provided their asses provender. And they made ready the present against Joseph came at noon, for they heard that they should eat bread there. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present which was in their hand into the house, and bowed themselves to him to the earth. Again, there go that dream. And he asked them of their welfare, and he said, Is your father well, the old man of whom ye spake? Is he yet alive? And they answered, Thy servant our father is in good health, and yet he is alive. And they bowed down their head and made obstinence. There you go. That was their dream coming again. And he lifted up his eyes and saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, Is this your younger brother of whom ye spake unto me? And he said, God be gracious unto thee, my son. And Joseph made haste, for his bowels did yearn upon his brother, and he sought where to weep. And he entered into his chamber and wept there. And he was like, You look just like our mama, and I ain't seen you in forever. So he went in the room, and he was like, I can't even let them see me fold like this. So he went into his chambers, and he cried. He was just so happy to see his brother. And he washed his face and went out and refrained himself and said, Set on bread. So he was like, Get it together, Joseph. Get it together. He got it together. And they set on for him by himself, and for them by themselves, and for the Egyptians which did eat with them by themselves, because the Egyptians might not eat bread with the Hebrews, for it was an abomination unto the Egyptians. And they sat before him, the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth. And the men marveled one at another. And so they was looking, and it was like, how he set us up all in order from start to finish in the right order. So they was like, this is weird. Like we were sat down, and we, coincidentally was sat down in birth order. And he took and sent masses unto them from before him, but Benjamin's mass was 5 times as much as any of theirs. And they drank and were merry with him. Okay, so chapter 44. So after he set them down, everybody bringing plates out or whatever, and everybody got 1 rib or 2, and Benjamin got like a whole slab. So it's noticeable that Benjamin has like way more than the rest of them. All right, 44. And he commanded the steward of his house, saying, fill the men's sack with food as much as they can carry, and put every man's money in his sack mouth, and put my cup, the silver cup, in the sack's mouth of the youngest, and his corn money. And he did according to the word that Joseph had spoken. As soon as the morning was light, the men were sent away, and their asses. And when they were gone out of the city, and not yet far off, Joseph said unto his steward, up, follow after the men, and when thou doest overtake them, and say unto them, wherefore ye rewarded evil for good? It is not this it which my Lord drinketh, and whereby indeed he divineth ye have done evil in so doing. And he overtook them, and he spake unto them these same words. And they said unto them, wherefore saith my Lord these words? God forbid thy servants should do according to this thing. So basically, Joseph told his people before he sent them off, he was like, hey, help them load up they stuff, because they finna get ready to go. But I want you to slip my cup in here, and then I want you to go after them. And when you go after them, be like, hey, I heard y'all stole a cup, like a silver cup. That cup cost $700. That was not a regular cup. And they was like, we ain't do this. Like, what is you talking about? Like, we is not no thieves. Like, do you know who our daddy is? He done had goats for days, sir. Like, we don't need to steal. We just came up here to buy some food, and we brought it to pay for it. So he was like, God forbid thy servants should do according to this thing. So behold, the money which was found in our sacks' mouths we brought again unto thee in the land of Canaan. How then should we steal out of thy Lord's house silver or gold? With whomsoever of thy servant it to be found, both let him die, and we also will be my Lord's bondmen. So they standing by it, like they know they solid. They like, listen, I ain't got no reason to steal. We brought the money that you forgot to take the last time, and brought you more. Like, we ain't no thieves, sir. If you think we some thieves, you can kill us if you find it. That's how much we know we ain't no thieves. And he said, now, not us. You can steal who stole it, and then the rest of us will be prisoners. And he said, now also let it be according unto your words. He with whom it is found shall be my servant, and ye shall be blameless. Then they speedily took down every man his sack to the ground, and opened every man his sack. And he searched and began at the eldest, and left at the youngest. And the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. Then they rent their clothes, and ladded every man his ass, and returned to the city. So when they say rent their clothes, that's an expression you're gonna hear. That's like, dang, man. Like, oh, so they like tripping because of all the people who gets captive, kept as captive, it got to be Benjamin, their father's favorite, who he was so worried about, losing, and now this didn't happen. And Judah and his brethren came to Joseph's house, for he was yet there, and they fell before him on the ground. And Joseph said unto them, what deed is it that ye have done? Wot ye not that such a man as I can certainly divine? And Judah said, what shall we say unto my Lord? What shall we speak, or how shall we clear ourselves? God hath found out the iniquity of thy servants. Behold, we are my Lord's servants, both we and he also, with whom the cup is found. And he said, God forbid that I should do also, but the man in whose hand the cup is found, he shall be my servant. And as for you, get you up in peace unto your father. Then, so he was like, I don't want nothing from the rest of y'all, but Benjamin got to stay here. He gonna be my servant. The rest of y'all can go. Then Judah came near unto him and said, O my Lord, let thy servant, I pray thee, speak a word in my Lord's ears, and let not thine anger burn against thy servant, for thou art even as Pharaoh. My Lord asked his servant, saying, have ye a father or a brother? And we said unto my Lord, we have a father, an old man, and a child of his old age, a little one, and his brother is dead, and he alone is left of his mother, and his father loveth him. And thou sayest unto thy servant, bring him down unto me, that I may set thine eye upon him. And we said unto my Lord, the land cannot leave his father, for he should leave his father, and his father would die. And thou saidest unto the servants, except your younger brother come down with you, ye shall see my face no more. And it came to pass, when we came unto thy servant my father, he told him the words of my Lord. And our father said, go again and buy us a little food. And we said, we cannot go down. If our youngest brother be with us, then we will go down, for we may not see the man's face, except our younger brother be with us. And thy servant my father said unto us, we know that my wife bare to me 2 sons, and the one that went out from me, and I said, surely he is torn into pieces, and I saw him not since. And if ye take this also from me, and mischief befall him, ye shall bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. Now therefore, when I come to thy servant my father, and the lad be not with me, seeing that his life is bound up in the lad's life, it should come to pass that when he seeth the lad is not with us, that he will die, and thy servant shall bring down the gray hairs of thy servant our fathers with sorrow to the grave. For thy servant became surety for the lad unto my father, saying, if I bring him not unto thee, then I shall bear the blame to my father forever. Now therefore I pray thee, let thy servant abide instead of the lad, and a bondman to my Lord, and let the lad go up with his brethren. For how shall I go up to my father, and the lad be not with me, lest peradventure I see the evil that shall come on my father? So Reuben was like, listen, Joseph, I know this how you feeling, and he done stole a cup, whatever, I get it, but let me be your prisoner instead of him, because my daddy love him, and if we come back and ain't got this boy, my daddy gonna die. So that's Reuben explaining to Joseph the conversation that he had with his father and what was going on, and with how Benjamin got there. Now, chapter 45. Then Joseph could not refrain himself before all them that stood by him, and he cried, cause every man to go out from me. And there stood no man with him, while Joseph made himself known unto his brethren. And he wept aloud, and the Egyptians in the house of Pharaoh heard. And Joseph said unto his brother, I am Joseph, doth my father yet live? And his brethren could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence. And Joseph said unto his brethren, come near unto me, I pray you. And they came near, and he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom ye sold into Egypt. Now therefore be not grieved nor angry with yourselves that ye sold me hither, for God did send me before you to preserve life. For these 2 years hath the famine been in the land, and yet there are 5 years in which there shall be neither earing nor harvest. And God sent me before you to preserve you a prosperity in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So now it was not you that sent me hinder, but God. He hath made me a father to Pharaoh, and a lord of his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. So this is like, hit you. It just hit you. So Joseph was like, listen, y'all, I ain't even mad with y'all about you selling me into slavery, because it wasn't by you. Everything that happens for a reason, and it was a purpose, and I couldn't see it at that time, but the reason and the purpose was I needed to be here to be able to organize all of this stuff for this famine. Because now I'm in a whole position to be able to save y'all. But had y'all not sent me into slavery, I'd have never been to Egypt, and I'd never been in the good graces of the king. So it's just him showing the forgiveness of what his brothers had done, and then also recognizing the divine nature of everything that happens. Like, he's like, y'all didn't sell me into slavery, God sold me into slavery. That's how it needed to be, because I needed to get here to be able to work out this famine situation. Haste. So that's what he just told his brothers. He was like, God sent me before you. God knew the famine was coming way before, and I had to be here to learn how to store grain. Okay. Haste ye, and go up to my father, and say unto him, thus saith thy son Joseph, God hath made me Lord of all Egypt. Come down unto me, tarry not, and thou shalt dwell in the land of Goshen, and thou shalt be near unto me, thou and thy children, and thy children's children, and thy flock, and thy herds, and all that thou hast. And there I will nourish thee, for yet there are 5 years of famine, lest thou and thou household, and all that thou hast come to poverty. And behold, your eyes see, and the eyes of my brother Benjamin, that it is my mouth that speaketh unto you. And ye shall tell my father, of all my glory in Egypt, and of all that ye have seen, and ye shall haste and bring down my father hither. And he fell upon his brother Benjamin's neck and wept, and Benjamin wept upon his neck. Moreover, he kissed all his brethren and wept upon them. And after that his brethren talked with him. And the fame thereof was heard in Pharaoh's house, saying, Joseph's brethren are come. And it pleased Pharaoh well and his servants. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, Say unto thy brethren, to do ye, laid your beast, and go, get you unto the land of Canaan, and take your father and your household, and come unto me, and I will give you the good of the land of Egypt, and ye shall eat the fat of the land. Now thou art commanded to do ye, and take your wagons out of the land of Egypt for your little ones and for your wives, and bring your father, and come. Also regard not your stuff, for the good of all the land of Egypt is yours. And the children of Israel did so. And Joseph gave them wagons according to the commandment of Pharaoh, and gave them provisions for the way. So Pharaoh was like, oh, this your fam? Your fam, my fam, bring them on. And tell them they ain't even got to move. They ain't got to rent no U-Haul. Don't even worry about your furniture. I got all that. Like, we balling over here. So just here go. And you ain't even got to ride back on them donkeys. Let me give y'all these rental wagons, first class, leather horse holders, big rims, and here goes some food. So they going on their way to go get their whole family. He said, bring them all, bring the kids, bring the wife, bring them all. Let me pull. Now, and the children of Israel did so, and Joseph gave them wagons according to the commandment of Pharaoh, and gave them provisions for the way. And to all of them he gave each man changes of raiment, but Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver and 5 changes of raiment. And to his father he sent after this manner 10 asses laden with the good things of Egypt, and 10 she-asses laden with the corn and the bread and the meat for his father by the way. So he sent his brethren away, and they departed, and he said unto them, See that ye fall not out by the way. And they went up out of Egypt, and came into the land of Canaan, into Jacob their father, and told him, saying, Joseph is yet alive, and he is governor over all the land of Egypt. And Jacob's heart fainted, for he believed them not. And they told him all the words of Joseph, which he had said unto them. And when he saw the wagons which Joseph had sent to carry, the spirit of Jacob their father revived. And Israel said, It is enough. Joseph, my son, is yet alive. I will go and see him before I die. You get to see your baby. Okay. Now, 46. And Israel took his journey with all he had, and came into Beersheba, and offered sacrifices unto the God of his father Isaac. And God spake unto Israel in the vision of the night, and said, Jacob, Jacob. And he said, Here I am. And he said, I am God, the God of thy father. Fear not to go down into Egypt, for I will there make thee a great nation. I will go down with thee into Egypt, and I will surely bring thee up again, and Joseph shall put his hand upon thine eyes. And Jacob rose up from Beersheba, and the son of Israel carried Jacob their father and their little ones and their wives in the wagons which Pharaoh had sent to carry him. And they took their cattle and their goods which they had gotten in the land of Canaan, and came into Egypt, Jacob and all his seed with him, his sons' sons with him, his daughters and his sons' daughters, and all his seed brought he with him into Egypt. And these are the names of the children of Israel which came into Egypt: Jacob and his sons, Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, and the sons of Reuben, Hanok and Palu and Hezron and Carmi, and the sons of Simeon, Jamel and Jamin and Ohad and Jachin and Zohar and Shaul, the son of a Canaanitish woman, and the sons of Levi, Gershon, Kohath, Lerim, and the sons of Judah, and Onan, and Shelah, and Perez, and Zara. But and Onan died in the land of Canaan. And the sons of Perez were Hezron and Hamul, and the sons of Ishkar, Tol, and Pavul, and Job, and Shimron, and the sons of Zebulon, Sarid, and Elon, and Jehiel. These be the sons of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob in Pardaram, with his daughter Dana, and all the souls of his sons and his daughters were 30 So it was 33 of them. And the sons of Gad, Zephion, and Haggai, Shunai, and Esbron, Eri, and Ardiel, and Areli. And the sons of Asher, Jimnan, and Ashua, and Isai, and Barin, and Sarai, their sister, and the sons of Barai, Heber, and Malika. And these are the sons of Zilpah, whom Laban gave to Leah his daughter, and these she bare unto Jacob, even 16 souls. So Zilpah is Leah's handmaid that Jacob was having babies with. So the sons of Rachel, Jacob's wife, Joseph and Benjamin. And unto Joseph in the land of Egypt were born Manasseh and Ephraim, and which Asina, the daughter of Potapria, priest of On, bare unto him. And the sons of Benjamin were Bela and Bercher and Ashbel, Ger, and Naaman, Ei, and Rosh, Mapim, and Hapum, and Art. Benjamin got a lot of babies, and he the youngest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He got 10. He gonna pass his daddy. And these are the sons of Rachel, which were born to Jacob. All the souls were 14. Yeah, Benjamin got like 75 more years to live, and he already got 10 kids. Bro, you doing it? All right. And the sons of Dan, Hashem. Dan just got one. All right. And the sons of Naphtali, Jezreel, and Gunai, and Jezer, and Shalem. These are the sons of Bilhah, which Laban gave unto Rachel his daughter, and she bare these unto Jacob. All their souls were 7. So that was the lineage by the handmaid, the other handmaid. And all the souls that came with Jacob unto Egypt, which came out of his loins, besides Jacob's sons' wives, all the souls were 66. So you can look that up. 60. Three score is not 3. And Joseph and the sons of Joseph, which were born him in Egypt, were 2 souls. All the souls of the house of Jacob, which came into Egypt, were 70. And he sent Judah before him unto Joseph to direct his face unto Goshen. And they came into the land of Goshen. And Joseph made ready his chariot and went up to meet Israel his father to Goshen, and presented himself unto him. And he fell on his neck and wept on his neck a good while. And Israel said unto Joseph, Now let me die, since I have seen thy face, because thou art yet alive. And Joseph said unto his brethren and unto his father's house, I will go up and show Pharaoh, and say unto him, My brethren and my father's house, which were in the land of Canaan, are come unto me. And the men are shepherds, for their trade hath been to feed cattle, and they have brought their flocks and all their herds and all that they have. And it shall come to pass, when Pharaoh shall call you, and shall say, What is your occupation? Then ye shall say, Thy servant's trade hath been about cattle from our youth, even until now, both we and also our fathers, that we may dwell in the land of Goshen, for every shepherd is an abomination unto the Egyptians. So Joseph was like, all right, everybody here. They done said they hellos and they powwows. And he's like, okay, we finna go talk to Pharaoh. And I'm finna give y'all a job. Now, he was like, we in Egypt, and they don't really deal with Hebrews like that. So tell them y'all some herders, that y'all do cattle, and they don't live with people who herd cattle. They think that's beneath them. But he gonna set you up and give you a job as a cattle herder. Now, 47. Then Joseph came and told Pharaoh and said, My father and my brethren and their flocks and their herds and all that they have come here out of the land of Canaan, and behold, they are in the land of Goshen. And he took some of his brother, even 5 men, and presented them unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto his brethren, What is your occupation? And they said unto Pharaoh, Thy servants are shepherds, both we and also our fathers. They said moreover unto Pharaoh, For to sojourn in the land are we come? For thy servants have no pasture for their flocks, and the famine is sore in the land of Canaan. Now therefore we pray thee, let thy servants dwell in the land of Goshen. And Pharaoh spake unto Joseph, saying, Thy father and thy brethren are come unto thee. The land of Egypt is before thee, and the best of the land make thy father and thy brethren to dwell. In the land of Goshen let them dwell. And if thou knowest any men of activity among them, then make them rulers over my cattle. And Joseph brought in Jacob his father, and set him before Pharaoh, and Jacob blessed Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Jacob, How old art thou? And Jacob said unto Pharaoh, The days of the years of my pilgrimage are 130 years. Few and evil have the days of the years of my life been, and have not attained unto the days of the years of the life of my fathers and the days of their pilgrimage. So he was like, I'm just a young old 130. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh and went out from before Pharaoh. And Joseph placed his father and his brethren and gave them a possession in the land of Egypt, and the best of the land in the land of Ramses, as Pharaoh had commanded. And Joseph nourished his father and his brethren and all his father's household with bread according to their families. And where there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very sore, so that the land of Egypt and all the land of Canaan fainted by reason of the famine. And Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and the land of Canaan for the corn which they had brought. And Joseph brought the money unto Pharaoh's house. And when the money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, Give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth. And Joseph said, Give your cattle, and I will give for you your cattle, if money fail. And they brought their cattle unto Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses, and for their flocks, and for the cattle, and for the herds, and for the asses, and fed them with the bread for all their cattle for that year. And that year was ended, and came to him in the second year, and said unto him, Will we not hide it from thy Lord, how that our money is spent, my Lord? Also have our herds of cattle. There is not aught left in the sight of my Lord, but our bodies and our lands. Therefore shall we die before thine eyes, both we and our lands. Buy us and our lands for bread, and we and our lands will be servants unto Pharaoh, and give us seed that we may live and not die, that the land not be desolate. And Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh, for the Egyptians sold every man his field, because the famine prevailed over them, so the land became Pharaoh's. As for the people, he removed them to cities from one end of the border of Egypt even to the other end thereof. Only the land of the priests brought he not, for the priests had a portion assigned them of Pharaoh, and did eat their portion which Pharaoh gave them. Wherefore they sold not their lands. When Joseph said unto the people, Behold, I have brought you this day and your land for Pharaoh. Lo, here is seed for you, and ye shall sow the land. And it shall come to pass in the increase that ye shall give the 5th part unto Pharaoh, and 4 parts shall be your own for seed of the field, and for your food, and for them of your household, and for the food of your little ones. And they said, Thou hast saved our lives. Let us find grace in the sight of my Lord, and we will be Pharaoh's servants. And Joseph made it a law over the land of Egypt unto this day, that Pharaoh should have the 5th part, except the land of the priests only, which became not Pharaoh's. And Israel dwelt in the land of Egypt, in the country of Goshen, and they had possessions therein, and grew and multiplied exceedingly. And Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years, as the whole age of Jacob was 147 years. And the time drew nigh that Israel must die, and he called his son Joseph, and said unto him, Now if I have found grace in thy sight, put, I pray thee, in thy hand under my thigh, and deal kindly and truly with me. Bury me not, I pray thee, in Egypt, but I will lie with my fathers, and thou shalt carry me out of Egypt, and bury me into their burying place. And he said, I will do as thou hast said. And he said, Swear unto me. And he sware unto him, and Israel bowed himself upon the bed's head. So the famine going on is getting worse. Ain't nobody got no more money to buy no food. So they start turning in cows and horses to pay for the food. Now they ain't got no more cows and horses, so they give up the land. So now Pharaoh has acquired like all of this land because of the famine. And Joseph made an agreement with the people like, hey, listen, so I know y'all had to get rid of y'all land or whatever to get this food. So what it's going to be going forward is I'm going to give y'all these seeds, and y'all going to plant them, and y'all going to work these lands, and just a fifth of everything that y'all got, y'all just send it to me. Y'all can keep the rest and do whatever with it. Like that'll be the agreement. So everything is everything. Joseph then got older. You know, he was 130 when he came. Now he 147, and he about to die. So he talking to his son on the bed. So that's where we at. Now 48. And it came to pass after these things that one told Joseph, behold, thy father is sick. And he took with him 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. And one told Jacob and said, behold, thy son Joseph come unto thee. And Israel strengthened himself and sat upon the bed. And Jacob said unto his son Joseph, God Almighty appeared unto me at Luz in the land of Canaan, and blessed me. And he said unto me, behold, I will make thee fruitful and multiply thee, and I will make thee a multitude of people, and I will give this land to thy seed after thee for an everlasting possession. And now thy 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto thee in the land of Egypt before I came into Egypt, are mine, as Reuben and Simeon, they shall be mine. And thy issue, which thou begettest after them, shall be thine, and shall be called after the name of their brethren in their inheritance. And as for me, when I came from Padan, Rachel died by me in the land of Canaan in the way, when yet there was but a little way to come unto Ephraim. And I buried her there in the way of Ephraim. The same is Bethlehem. And Israel beheld Joseph's son. And Israel beheld Joseph's sons, and said, who are these? And Joseph said unto his father, they are my sons, whom God hath given me in this place. And he said, bring them, I pray thee, unto me, and I will bless them. Now the eyes of Israel were dim from age, so that he could not see. And he brought them near unto him, and he kissed them and embraced them. And Israel said unto Joseph, I had not thought to see thy face, and lo, God hath showed me also thy seed. He was like, I didn't even think I was going to see you no more. Now I get to see you and your babies. And Joseph brought them out from between his knees, and he bowed himself with his father, with his face to the earth. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim in his right hand toward Israel's left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand towards Israel's right hand, and brought them near unto him. And Israel stretched out his right hand and said unto Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand upon Manasseh's head, guided his hands wittingly, for Manasseh was the firstborn. So he said he did. Okay, so basically he's saying he putting one hand on one child and one hand on the other, and the order or the manner in which he's putting his hands is not coincidental. He did it purposefully. So whatever the tradition may have been at that time, like if you do a certain kind of blessing with a right hand or a different kind of blessing with a left hand, like he's intentional in whatever he's doing with the firstborn. And he blessed Joseph and said, God before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac did walk, the God which fed me all of my life long unto this day, and the angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads, and let my name be named on them, and the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, and let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. And when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him. And he held up his father's hand and removed it from Ephraim's head unto Manasseh. And Joseph said unto his father, No, not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put thy right hand upon his head. And his father refused and said, I know it, my son, I know it. He also shall become a people, and he also shall be great. But truly his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations. So when he was blessing him, he was putting the right hand on the wrong child head, like in a reverse order. But that also brings it back. Like, this is another thing I want you to pay attention to on this that is very layered with the Bible. Y'all remember back earlier when this same kind of thing happened. The younger was greater than the older. The same thing happened with Cain and Abel. Abel was he the younger brother? I don't know, but I know for sure the same thing happened with Joseph, because Joseph was the younger brother, and he prospered over all of his brothers. So it's, the way that stuff is layered. You know, you can pay attention to that. You start to notice things like that. And he blessed them that day, saying, in thee shall Israel bless, saying, God, make thee as Ephraim and as Manasseh. And he set Ephraim before Manasseh. And Israel said unto Joseph, behold, I die, but God shall be with you, and bring you again unto the land of your fathers. Moreover, I have given to thee one portion above thy brethren, which I took out of the land of the Amorite with my sword and with my bow. Okay, 49. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together, and I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Gather yourselves together, and hear ye, sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity and the excellency of power. Unstable as water, thou shalt not excel, because thou wantest up to thy father's bed, and then defilest thou it. He went up to my couch. Okay, unstable as water, thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defilest thou it. He went up to my couch. Simeon and Levi are brethren, instruments of cruelty, and are in their habitations. O my soul, come not thou into their secret, unto their assembly, mine honor, be not thou united, for in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down a wall. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and in their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob, and scatter them in Israel. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey. My son, thou art gone up. He stooped down. He crouched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? The scripture shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. Binding his fowl unto the vine, and his ass's coat unto the choice vine, he washed his garments in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and shall be for an haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Zidon. Ishkar is a strong ass couching down between two burdens. And he saw the rest was good, and the land that it was pleasant, and bowed down his shoulder to bear, and he became a servant unto tribute. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan shall be a serpent by the way, an adder in the path, that biteth the horse's heel, so that his rider shall fall backwards. I have waited for thy salvation, O Lord. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. Out of Asher his bread shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties. Naphtali is a hind let loose. He giveth godly works. Joseph is a fruitful bow, even a fruitful bow by a well, whose branches run over the wall. The archers have sorely grieved him, and shot at him, and hated him. But his bow abide in strength, and the arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty God of Jacob. From thence is the shepherd, the stone of Israel, even by God thy Father, who shall help thee, by the Almighty, who shall bless thee with blessings of heaven above, blessing the deep that lieth under blessings of the breast of the womb. The blessings of the Father have prevailed above the blessings of my progenitor's unto the utmost bound of the everlasting hills. They shall be the head of Joseph, and on the crown of the head of him that was separate from his brethren. Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoil. And these are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is that their father spake unto him, and blessed them, every one according to his blessing he blessed them. Now that whole thing up from chapter 49, from verse 2 to 27, I highlighted that as prophetic, because obviously we know Jacob is in real good with the Lord. He be saying stuff, he be passing, he be, blessing folks. So saying that this is what is going to happen, I highlighted as the whole thing. And this is another thing I do too. You don't have to like highlight through line by line. When I get in certain spaces, instead of like going through and highlighting that whole passage, I just take, pink is my color for prophecy, I just take it and run it down. So I know it's that whole section is what I'm looking at. Okay. Now, and he charged them and said unto them, I am to be gathered unto my people. Bury me with my father in the cave that is in the field of Ephron the Hittite, in the cave that is in the field of Melphah, which is before Mari, in the land of Canaan, which Abraham brought with the field of Ephron on the Hittite for a possession of a burying place. There they buried Abraham and Sarah his wife, and there they buried Isaac and Rebekah his wife, and there I buried Leah. The purchase of the field and of the cave that is therein was from the children of Heth. And when Jacob had made an end of commanding his sons, he gathered up his feet unto the bed and yielded up the ghost, and was gathered unto his people. So he died right after he told them what was going to happen. Okay, now chapter 50. And Joseph fell upon his father's face and wept upon him and kissed him. And Joseph commanded his servants, the physicians, to embalm his father, and the physicians embalmed Israel. And 40 days were fulfilled of him, for so are fulfilled the days of those which are embalmed. And the Egyptians mourned for him 60 days. And when the 10 days of his mourning were past, Joseph spake unto the house of Pharaoh, saying, If now I have found grace in your eyes, speak, I pray you, in the ears of the Pharaoh, saying, My father made me swear, saying, Lo, I die in my grave, which I have digged for me in the land of Canaan. There shall thou bury me. Now therefore let me go up, I pray thee, and bury my father, and I will come again. And Pharaoh said, Go up and bury thy father, according as he has made thee swear. And Joseph went up to bury his father, and with him went up all the servants of Pharaoh, and the elders of his house, and all the elders of the land of Egypt, and all the house of Joseph and his brethren, and his father's house, only their little ones and their flock and their herd they left in the land of Goshen. And there went up with him both chariots and horsemen, and it was a very great company. So Jacob had a big old funeral. That was a long line. And they came into the threshing of a tide, which is beyond Jordan, and there they mourned with a great and very sore lamentation. And he made a mourning for his father 7 days. So he had a 7-day funeral. And when the inhabitants of the land and Canaanites saw the mourning in the floor of a tide, they said, This is a grievous mourning by the Egyptians. Therefore the name of it was called Abel-Meroz, beyond Jordan. And his sons did unto him according as he commanded them, for his sons carried him into the land of Canaan and buried them in the cave of the field of Melphah, which Abraham brought with the field for a possession of a burying place of Ephron the Hittite before Marmi. And Joseph returned into Egypt, he and his brethren, and all that went up with them, to bury his father after he had buried his father. And when Joseph's brethren saw that their father was dead, they said, Joseph will peradventure hate us, and will certainly requite us all the evil which we've done unto him. And they sent a messenger unto Joseph, saying, Thy father did command before he died, saying, So shall ye say unto Joseph, Forgive, I pray thee now, the trespass of thy brethren and their sin, for they did unto thee evil. And now we pray thee, forgive the trespass and the servants of the God of thy father. And Joseph wept when they spake unto him. And his brethren also went and fell down before his face, and they said, Behold, we be thy servants. And Joseph said unto them, Fear not, for am I in the place of God? But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good, to bring it to pass as it is this day, to save much people alive. Now therefore fear ye not, I will nourish you and your little ones. And he comforted them and spake kindly unto them. And Joseph dwelt in Egypt, he and his father's house. And Joseph lived 110 years. And Joseph saw Ephraim's children of the 3rd generation, the children also of Machir and the sons of Manasseh, which were brought up upon Joseph's knees. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I die, and God will surely visit you, and bring you out of this land unto the land which he sware to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. And Joseph took an oath of the children of Israel, saying, God will surely visit you, and ye shall carry up my bones from hence. So Joseph died, being 110 years old, and they embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt. So we got through Genesis. So in this last chapter, they was like, dang, my daddy dead. We done buried him. Coming back, they scared. They was like, we don't know if you still bitter about this whole slave thing. But just as Joseph had said before, when they first had met him, you know, like, hey, you know, did God work this thing out? So he said to them, like, who am I to be upset with you about what took place? What took place was meant to take place for whatever reason, so I'm not mad with you. So he lived, and he had a wonderful life, got to see his grandkids, great grandkids, everybody grew up, and he died. So we have got through Genesis, a whole book. So that didn't seem that hard, you know. That was a whole book. So we're gonna start in Exodus on our next session. So I want to thank you guys again for spending this time with me. We have completed the book of Genesis, and I cannot wait to start on Exodus. See y'all soon.